Hey everybody, this is Puppet King, and I'm back with this week's story time. And for this week's story time, it's going to be about a time, well, I took a dangerous route to driving that I wouldn't recommend you do. Here, let me start it off by saying that I was at church and church was just being let out. Of course, it was night and it was raining really hard, and of course, we were under a thunderstorm watch. Never got one, or never got a warning, but we were under a watch. And mostly the rain was more of a problem than the storm. Like, I'll tell you that everyone was being let out, and it was pouring down rain. It was pouring down right hard. You could barely see the roadway. But what I neglected to do was I saw people leaving even when the road was getting poured on. It looked like it was, could lead to flooding. I decided to drive home anyway, and it was very dangerous. I could barely see the road at times, but I still decided to go on home like everyone else did. Of course, not everyone thought that was a good idea, because apparently after I got home, my dad was saying that he tried calling me, telling me, don't go on the roadways yet. Wait until it lets up. But indeed, I didn't hear the phone. I didn't hear my cell phone ring. So what did I do? I go on out on the roadway anyway. And probably not the best idea either. See, probably not the best idea because I had how old was he? Maybe 2, 3 years old child in the car with me. And I thought, I can see the road well enough, and people are driving, even with babies in their cars, so it's fine to go on. But it wasn't. Not the way the road was leading. It was very, very wet. And like I said, I could barely see the road at times. It even scared me sometimes to even be on the road. But I decided that it's good enough and it's fine. Let's go. So yeah, the drive was maybe about 2 to 3 minutes home, maybe, because I lived very close to the church at that time. But it was not a good 2 to 3 minutes. It was very scary. You could barely see the road at times. I was afraid I might not see something. I might crash into it. I mean, if I can't go too fast because I'm not able to see very well. And if I'm not able to see very well, I mean, you have two cons right there. It's dark and it's pouring down rain where you can barely see the road. So, was I smart to take that route? No, but I thought with everyone leaving, that it was going to be okay to go ahead. So I go on the roadway without knowing that my dad calls and says, please wait up. Please do not go out on the road yet. But I decided it was okay. But before I knew he called and everything, that probably was a good idea to hold up. Because like I said, I decided to get out on the road right after when it was pouring down rain and I could barely see the road. And so it was a relief that I got home safe. Of course, when I got home safe and got out of the car, it was pouring down rain, so got me and my son in the house. And of course, my dad was not very happy about it. But, I mean, he kept going on about how dangerous that was and how to the south and east there were flooding warnings. Not flood watches, flood warnings. And then, after he talks to me about it and after I see those on TV to the east and south of flooding warnings, I thought to myself, oh, maybe it is bad as I thought. But then again, he just kept going on about how wrong I was to do that, and plus having my son in the car. But I just kind of brush it off. I just kind of just brush it off. I'm just because I mean I I mean he gave some really good advice, but at that time it's like he was just going on, and I didn't want to listen, so I just kind of just brushed it off. But looking back on it now, that was probably a smart decision. I probably should have waited for the road to clear up and for the rain to let up a little. But basically, from getting to church to home, it never let up. It was practically flooded. It's like even with your windshield wipers on full blast, it's still hard to see. That's how flooded that's how much rain was falling at a time, like pouring down rain. And of course, it's one of those. I guess you could say it's one of those summer storms that you can get, because this was in the summer. But I mean, would I advise myself to do what I did practically 12, 13 years ago, and drive on a roadway that's practically, flooded, that you can't see anything? No, I don't. And that will be my message to you. If you are getting ready to go somewhere and it's pouring down rain and you could barely ever see the roadway, don't go. It's much too dangerous. Because let me tell you, I did, and personally, I was a little scared inside driving, that much. Just not. I mean, it wasn't the driving personally, because I've taken that road many times, but it was the rain letting up and so many cars, and it was just dangerous. I wouldn't recommend it now. And I would tell my 12, 13-year-old self, well, 12, 13 years ago, 12 or 13 years ago, I'd tell myself, let up. I would say what my dad said: let the rain let up first, and then go. Don't drive on a roadway where it's practically pouring down rain, and where you can barely see anything, even with your windshield wipers on and your lights on bright. But anyway, that's the time I took a dangerous roadway. Well, not dangerous, but dangerous weather. I drove on a roadway that was not flooded, but it was pouring down rain, and it wasn't any cakewalk to get home. I mean, took some really good seeing on the road to get there, but nonetheless, we did make it safe home. But I wouldn't recommend you guys doing it today. And that's the time that I drove home in dangerous weather with my child, maybe 3 years old, in the car. But today, I would not advise it. So if you ever do, just remember, let the rain let up first, so you don't take the situation I did. And I'll be back next week with another story time. So if you enjoyed this story, please hit the thumbs up button and click the red subscribe button and turn on bell notifications all, so you don't miss another video. I'll hope to see you in my lives on Friday. Now, there's a new schedule. Lives on Friday, Saturday, and Monday. Hope to see you in my lives on Fridays, Saturday, and Mondays now. And Tuesdays for my Storytime premiere. And any other time I decide to upload a video. And I will see y'all later. So y'all have a good week, everyone. And hope to see you Friday. Good night, everyone.